Hey there, my name is Kelly Dale and I'm owner of Off the Beaded Path. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make a really beautiful coiled wire bracelet. To make the bracelet, you're going to need your handy Coiling Gizmo. You're going to need a clamp. You'll probably find this out in your garage, or Ace Hardware here in Forest City sells them for about $3. You're going to need 22 or 24 gauge artistic wire, and I'm using a size 6 seed bead. I've used one box, which is about 11 grams, and I have threaded them all on my 22 or 24 gauge wire. So get your materials together and let's get started. Once you have your materials and you're ready to start, the first thing you'll need to do is to actually clamp your U-shaped bar of your Coiling Gizmo onto your table or whatever you're working with. Now, there's two holes in your clamp. You have a larger hole for your larger size rod, and then you have a smaller hole for your smaller size rod. We're going to be using the larger rod today, and to start off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 24 gauge wire, that's what I'm going to be using, and I'm just going to take and wrap it a couple of times around the handle to anchor it. Once I have that done, I'm going to take my wire and I'm going to start wrapping 2 or 3 wraps, just like that. Now I'm going to put it in this way. Now I'm going to reposition the camera here to see if you can't see kind of how it's going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my handle and I'm going to start wrapping my wire. And once I have a few wraps on here, I'm going to push up my seed beads onto my piece, and I'm going to begin to wrap those seed beads, being careful to let the wire move so that my seed beads won't be super tight on my wire. The problem is, if you get them super tight on your wire, what's going to happen is you're going to break your wire really easily. So you want to be careful not to get that wire too tight. And as you can see, my wire is just, or my beads are just coiling around with my wire like a regular coil would. And I'm just going to continue to coil until I've used all my beads. Now, you don't have to use all your beads if you don't want to, depending on the size bracelet or necklace that you're going to make. Once you have your last little bit of beads on there, you'll want to take and wrap the same amount of wraps on the end as you did on the start of your project. Once you have the same amount of wraps, you'll take your cutters and you'll trim your wire on the end. Then you'll turn and trim your wire here on this end so that when you pull it off, you have a coiled piece for your bracelet. Now that I've got my coil finished, I've got 2 pieces of turquoise left over from another project that I'm going to use because I want it to look just like this bracelet here. Now, the thing about it is my turquoise has some black in it, so I'm going to use fine or medium black soft flakes to kind of add a little bit of jazz to my project. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my coil of wire and I'm going to thread my soft flakes all the way through. And this is easier said than done because once you get near the end, your soft flakes will want to stick out every which way. Okay. I have my coil on my saw flex. I'm going to thread on my extra little chunk of turquoise that I had, one little seed bead, a 2x2 crimp, and a wire protector. So the wire protector has 2 holes. I'm going to go up through one side and down through the other. I'm going to thread on a lobster claw. And I'll pull my crimp tube up over both wires so that when I pull it, it'll be up close to the wire protector. And I'm going to come in just a little bit so you guys can see. If you've never crimped before, these are regular crimping pliers. It has a back hole and a front hole. I'm going to put it in the back hole first and press. And what that does is that puts an indentation or a U shape. And with that U shape, either facing towards me or away from me, I'm going to come in with those crimp pliers and press it again. And what that's going to do is fold that crimp in half. Now, I know that my wire or my beads are big enough, so I'm going to thread everything back through my 2 pieces of wire, so that when I pull, that end is complete. Now my wire, I pulled it too far and it come out of the other side, so had to fix that. But now I'm back to the other side, and again I'm going to thread on my extra piece of turquoise that I had, my size 6 turquoise color seed bead, my 2x2 crimp, and my wire protector. Up one side, down through the other side. I'm going to thread on a jump ring or a split ring. It's completely up to you. And then I'm going to take my wire and run it back through the crimp tube and the seed bead. And I will pull the wire until it meets where my crimp is. And I used a jump ring here just because that's all I had in my hands when I started this project, so it fell off, so we can add that back on. That's no big deal. And we're going to crimp just like I showed you a second ago. Back hole first with the U shape facing away from me. Press to get that little indentation. Trim off my tail. And my new turquoise Coiling Gizmo bracelet is complete. I hope you enjoyed the project. To purchase any of these supplies, you can check out Off the Beaded Path beadstore.com on our web store, or you can stop by our store, which is located at 120 West Trade Street in Forest City. Have a great beaded day.